Start streaming. Alright, boys and girls. We are nearly there. So I'm just going to check and make sure that... Oh, yep, everything's working. Alright. I really have to check a lot to make sure everything's working because of how many times everything has failed. Milk. Oh, God, that stuff's good. Okay. Let's get back. So when last we left you, it was nighttime, so let's make it morning. This is what we had. And today is going to be a whole lot of just putting a second layer on this. And I was thinking, hey guys, wow, you guys are fast. So, listen, I got a question for everybody, because here's what I'm thinking. The next level above this one is the Dragon's Lair, okay? I'm not going to be able to put a dragon in, but it's going to be a big open space with a volcano on top of it. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of doing this. So, normally, when I put the walls up, I put a roof on. I have not been to Mine Hut yet, Nathan. I'm still trying to concentrate on getting this finished. So normally I will put a floor, or a roof, I guess, a ceiling or a floor, or the next one, of all rock. But what I'm thinking of doing this time, because of this maze here, is over top of all of the corridors down below, I'm thinking of putting glass like this. What do you guys think? That way, when you're walking up above, actually, when you're walking down below, I mean, theoretically, if I could put a dragon up here, you would see the dragon. And if you're walking up above, you can see the whole maze down below you. What do you guys think of that idea? I think it'd be kind of cool, actually. People tend to do glass over mazes. They do? Oh, I did not know this. So apparently I'm not original. Is that what you're saying? Alright, well, I'm going to do it out like that. I'm going to put the glass over top there to see what it looks like. I can't guarantee I'm going to keep it, but, I mean, the idea sounds pretty cool to me, so. The maze is pretty tough. Yes, it is. It's not impossible. I guarantee you, if you stick to the left wall on this maze, it will take you hours to get through. In fact, no, it's not impossible if you stick to the left wall. There are several places in the labyrinth as a whole that I've made it impossible. If you stick to the left wall or the right wall, it's impossible. Because of the way the labyrinth is laid out, and the fact that I'm allowed to go up floors and down floors, you can actually overcome that left wall, right wall thing. But in this one, if you stick to either the left wall or the right wall, you will get through. But it will take you much longer than it should because of the way the maze is laid out. Did I say something about a dragon? Yes, I did say something about a dragon. In the Dungeons and Dragons module that I built 30 years ago. In fact, a couple of nights ago, there was a guy on the stream called Schneb. He's actually one of the guys that I ran through this dungeon, this exact dungeon, 30 years ago. When I was playing Dungeons, we were all playing Dungeons and Dragons. We were all in the army at the time. So in that D&D module, the top floor, after you get through this maze, the top floor was a dragon. And the volcano is not real. The volcano was kind of the dragon's making, basically. He would essentially make the lava himself. He would breathe on the rock until it liquefied and became lava. But that's my scenario for this, right? Anybody that wanted to use this for their own D&D campaign, they could put whatever story they want behind it. That's the thing that I like most about Dungeons and Dragons, is that it's all story, right? And anybody can put whatever story they want in it. And I just love that. I am all about the story. You stream survival. What kind of survival? Oh, Minecraft survival? You know what? If I ever get or when I get a server set up, I would love it if some of you guys would live stream yourselves trying to go through this thing. That way I could watch. I have a slightly smaller version of this that I'm probably going to build too, to be honest. But I have a slightly smaller version of this that I built in a couple of other game types. Like, has anybody ever played Conan Exiles, I think it's called? The new Conan survival type game. So I built the smaller version of this dungeon in both Conan and EverQuest Landmark, if you guys remember that one. That was one that they were trying to build as the new incarnation of EverQuest about 4 maybe 5 years ago, I guess. So I built this in both of those, and in Conan there was a bunch of guys tried to run through the maze, and in Conan food is very important, and several of them starved to death while they were in the maze. So what dragon would it be? Definitely a red dragon in order to make the lava, right? Because, you know, a blue dragon is lightning, a green dragon is poison. I can't remember what a black dragon breathes. Oh, did I talk about the Conan? Yeah, I probably talked about the Conan thing before. A couple of the guys there still curse me for that. Not quite 50 floors. I think it's only actually like 10 floors. And let's be honest. At 10 floors, it's hard enough. I shudder to think how hard it would be at 50 floors. After I'm done this, which isn't going to be all that long, so I gotta finish off this today, hopefully today. Put the glass roof on it, and then I gotta build the dragon layer above that, and then I gotta put the volcano around the whole thing. So that's going to be, a lot of landscaping, right? Trying to make the thing look like a volcano is going to be a little difficult. Once that's done, I actually have a smaller maze. It's like this, but much, much, much smaller, a lot easier, that I'm going to build. I'm actually going to carve it into the side of one of the other mountains, since it's only a single floor. And I'm going to use that as my kind of guinea pig, my test run on how to build the Choose Your Own Adventure video. Because I've been thinking about the shot list for that Choose Your Own Adventure video, and it's going to be very difficult to keep track. Because at every intersection, you've got to make a different video or a different jump cut for that video for every possible turn a person can take or every possible direction they could go. So the shot list and the link list is going to be huge. The Nether update? Yeah, absolutely. There's a bunch of stuff that just came out. I think Avomance and Biffa, I think both have updates on the new stuff that's coming out in 15 and 16, I think. Mountain update. Was there a mountain update? Did I miss that? Holy crap, I was just thinking, what would be truly, truly evil? Can you imagine this entire maze where the entire thing was made out of glass? Yes, my profile picture is me in a Darth Maul costume. I am one of the Lucasfilm Darth Mauls, if you guys know anything about that. Nathan, didn't I watch your stream float? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here, dude. What stream float are you talking about? I've watched a couple of videos that people have sent me in the chat here. Keep in mind, there are a bunch of people that send me stuff now, right? So I may not remember exactly which one it was that I watched and didn't watch. Off the top of my head, Nathan, I'm not remembering it. Why don't you put the link in again, and I'll check it out and make sure that I saw it. Oh, float boat. Ah, I get you. I see what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm kind of half distracted here trying to get this done and watch the chat at the same time. I don't want to ignore you guys. I also have work to do. The key to anybody finishing this is going to be making a map. If you're really, really good at, just following the right wall or the left wall, then you will be able to finish it, absolutely. But making a map as you're going through is going to be amazingly helpful for you. When we used to play Dungeons and Dragons, started my own dungeon. Oh, hey! Congratulations on starting your own dungeon. I'd love to see it if you ever get something up. I'm all about the dungeons, dude. Oh yeah, I don't know, and just in case you guys haven't noticed, I'm also easily distracted. Squirrel! Sorry. That was a Disney reference. Welcome back. How many dungeons do I have? Kind of a trick question, to be honest. How many dungeons have I drawn up? 40 or 50? How many dungeons do I still have on paper right now? Probably about 10. How many dungeons do I have built in games like this? I think 4 or 5. It's what I do. When I love games like this where you can build stuff. I actually built. I mean, it's not as good, but I built a version of something like this in Fallout 4 too. Because Fallout 4 has that base building system that they let you do. So I built something kind of similar in Fallout 4. Wait, so you use LBS? OBS. I use OBS to stream. OBS 64. It streams directly to YouTube. So it's really simple, actually. It's very straightforward. I like it. Is it? I don't use. I don't have a PS4. I used to have a PS3, but I used it primarily for as a Blu-ray player. And then I got the job at Microsoft, so I bought an Xbox One, and I use that primarily as a Blu-ray player too. I can't really get the controllers to work very well on the consoles, any of the consoles. The last controller that I really liked on a console was the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, and we're talking back in the late 80s. Like, it's too hard to get the damn thing to go where I want it to go, really. So I still got my PS3, but it's I haven't had it hooked up in years, and I got my Xbox One. But like I said, I don't game on the Xbox One either. I use it as a media server essentially. I gotta tell you, this is a little monotonous doing this way, but it's so much easier than trying to lay out the original pattern. That was tough. Hey, I got a tip for you. So if anybody's looking for a game, relatively cheap game, but surprisingly good for how old it is. There's an old game, I just picked it up again, and I played it through. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It is based directly off of the tabletop role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade. Even so much as it has character sheets in it. And even though it came out literally 15 years ago, it holds up surprisingly well, and it's only 19 bucks, I think, to buy. I was really astounded at how well it held up. Killer Encounter Maps D&D. Yeah, I mean that's the whole point. My whole point for doing this was to basically make this into a 3D encounter map system for Dungeons and Dragons. If I could find some way to put even static representations of the monsters in here, even if they didn't do anything, but it was just a three-dimensional picture, or a vaguely three-dimensional picture of the different monsters, that would be fantastic. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines it's actually like a forefather of a bunch of the newer modern role-playing type games. It was fully voiced. The graphics are older, definitely, because it came out literally 15 years ago. But they were surprisingly well done for 15-year-old graphics. And it's a completely story-driven game. They give you basically a world and a story, and you have to accomplish things. And it's not like in a lot of the newer MMOs where quests basically turn into fetch this, fetch that. There's a lot of depth to it, and there's a lot of backstory to it. It's a really rich world. And I say that because they're coming out with a brand new game in, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, I guess. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. So that's why I picked up the old game and started playing it again, was just to get myself back into the groove, and I was literally amazed at how well it stood the test of time. If made a server, I can help with Static Dragon. Oh, that would be cool. Can you put something like that into Minecraft? Basically, some sort of a 3D model. I mean, even if it's a blocky thing, right? You know, kind of like the rest of the Minecraft stuff is, to fit in with the Minecraft aesthetic. That would be kind of cool. And like I said, it doesn't actually have to move at all, right? It's just for the dungeon master who's running the dungeon to be able to say, "You see a dragon," and there he is. Yeah, I get that Minecraft is a sandbox game, because obviously I'm building a sandbox right now. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. But I didn't think that you could effectively build you know, something that looked like an actual creature, because that's what I'm looking to do. I mean, I suppose I could build something vague, but you only really have one size of blocks that you can play with. So if you were going to build something that vaguely represented the look of a dragon in Minecraft, how many blocks tall do you think it would have to be, you know, to have any semblance of the creature it's trying to portray? $20 would be a little, would be a lot too much. 10 might even be pushing it for what I'm looking for. But I mean, if it was 10, I could probably deal with it. I'll tell you what I'll do is, so the dragon's lair is the next one above this. What I'll do is I'll put the walls 10 high and just, or 11 high, let's say. Just so we can figure out how it would look, how a dragon would look in there, how a 10 tall dragon would look in there. then again, where is it? Yeah, that's not that bad, because that's about what I was anticipating right there as to be the height. I don't think it's quite 10, but I can go up to 10. Here, in fact, let's take a look. So what do we got? We got 1, 2. Here, I'll just put another setup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll go 11, so there's one space above his head. And then, oops, that goes there. Oh, there, let's do that. There. Okay. So that's what, yeah, I could do that. Oh, making him sleeping would look pretty cool. Yeah, making him sleeping would be very cool, dude. Yeah. So I can definitely do that. So I can make the dragon's chamber that tall, and then the top layer of it would be obsidian, and then on top of the obsidian is the fake lava that the dragon will have made. Because it's not a real volcano, it's just the dragon is making it look like it's a volcano, so that people will leave him alone. Is this my best dungeon? No. I have better, I have bigger. This is probably the most complicated, though. And why I chose my most complicated dungeon as the first one, I'm not quite sure. I'm a glutton for punishment. To me, I judge the dungeons more on the story that I can create around them, rather than the complicated nature of the labyrinth. But I think this is definitely the most complicated labyrinth I've got. Will I do a full walkthrough? Yes, I will, but the thing about a full walkthrough is it's going to have to be a choose-your-own-adventure style walkthrough, because there's no way I can take people through the entire dungeons. What I can do is I will do like a partial walkthrough where I'll show people the finished product. I'll do like a video that has me walking through a number of pieces of the labyrinth, but I'm not going to show people the way through, because that would defeat the purpose. And I want to be able to do the choose your own adventure style thing so that people can actually have the fun of figuring out the way through it themselves. And then other people, if they want to do if they want to figure out how to get through it, and then do a full walkthrough of them getting through it, yeah, sure, I don't mind. Why do they say stick to the left or right side? Well, that is a very, very old trick for getting through a maze. Under most conditions, with a single floor maze like this one, if you keep your hand on the left wall or the right wall at all times, and always make the same turns, like you pick left or right and you go that way, and you always keep your hand on that wall, eventually the whole thing turns into a great big circle, essentially, that will guarantee that you always find the way out. So that is an effective way of finding your way out of most mazes, as long as they are a single level maze. If it's a double level maze, or 2 levels or higher, more maze, that doesn't work. Or if it's a 2 level high maze and the guy who made the maze is evil like me, it won't work. Do your idea for a walkthrough. So I'm gonna do I'll do like a trailer walkthrough kind of a thing, saying, hey, here's what it is, here's what it looks like, and if you go here and here and here, you'll see this and this and this kind of stuff. But I'm not going to take you through the whole thing, because that would just ruin your fun. Yeah, I think it'd be cool too. The thing is, as soon as I'm done this one, I'm probably going to have to build the smaller one first, and use it as kind of a training tool for myself to figure out how to do the choose your own, the shot list, basically, for the choose your own adventure. Because I've been trying to put that shot list together for this, and it is massive. There are thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of different possible decision points. Anybody that goes through it may only make a few hundred different decisions, but I have to shoot every possible decision that every single person could make. And that is a lot of film. Alright, Nathan, thanks for joining me. Pleasure talking to you. It is mostly stone, yeah. What I want to do, and somebody was suggesting this a while ago, is I want to go through later and add some character to it. And I probably will do that. I definitely will do that before I shoot the video. So, I mean, there's still a lot of work to go. Once I get this floor on, the next floor is really simple, obviously. But that is by no stretch of the imagination the end of the work. Right? I gotta make the volcano, and then I gotta go back in, and I've got to add atmosphere basically to the whole thing. I did a little bit of that down below. I don't know if you guys were here, but I built that nether portal down below, and I put some atmosphere in that room, some bookshelves and things like that. Plus, I want to add some redstone contraptions, just some small ones, so that the secret doors, or at least some of the secret doors, can have buttons to push that will actually open and close secret doors. So, you know, this is just the structure. The ambiance comes next. Ooh, getting there. Look at that. Getting close. Man, that does look rather daunting from here. Is the dragon going to be hard to defeat? Well, to be honest, that's going to be up to the dungeon master. Um, in mine, I think the characters needed to be a minimum of level 20 to defeat the dragon. And the first time they got there, they were only like level 15. So they actually got through the maze a little faster than I had wanted them to. And they got their asses handed to them. So they actually had to go back and clear through a lot of the maze that they had kind of avoided before in order to get more XP, experience points. XP is experience points. To level up their characters. And they came back at like level, I don't know, 22 or something. And they kicked its ass. But then again, the first time, well, obviously, they were only level 15-ish. And they ran up against it. They were surprised when they found him. The second time, they went there specifically to kill him. And they had all kinds of preparations done at that point. How many choices or routes can there be? Wow, I don't know. Literal, well, routes literally hundreds. Choices, literally thousands. There is definitely more than one route to get you to the top, or at least to get you to here. There is only one successful route through this level. Every other level, there are multiple successful routes through. And the variations are brought on by the monsters that the Dungeon Master decides to put, or the encounters that the Dungeon Master decides to put in each room. Look at that, I left the window. Not anymore. Although leaving a window is not actually a terrible idea, because seeing through it doesn't actually tell you anything. How many people do I expect in the lobby? I don't really know, but to be honest, I don't mind multiple people going through here at the same time, right? They're all going to be on their own little adventure. Some people might help each other out, some people might not. To me, actually, it'd be more fun if there were hundreds of players crawling through this thing at the same time. It's shrinking. Oops. All the different stages, or at some stage, wondering how they can get past. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, there will be active secret doors in here. So some people are going to... now that's interesting. So I definitely want redstone contraptions in here to be able to open some of the secret doors. Whatever ones I have room for a redstone contraption to control, I want to. But I'm going to have to figure out some sort of a timer system to close it behind the people. Actually, I can do that. Actually, that's not as... that's pretty simple, actually, now that I think about it. Because when one person opens a secret door, I don't actually want it to stay open for very long, right? Because I want the next person to have to find it, the same mechanism. Because it ruins the fun if somebody just opens all the secret doors for you. I'm not surprised it's a dungeon. Yeah, so that's actually a good reminder. All of my secret door, all of my redstone contraptions are going to have timers that will close themselves behind the person. You got to give enough time for the person to activate the door and then get through it. I'm going to put redstone where I can, but there's actually a flaw in this dungeon as far as redstone goes, because every floor that you see, that floor right there, is also the ceiling of the level below, which means that I actually have no room to put redstone contraptions in a lot of places unless I take out large portions of the dungeon below, which, to be honest, is not impossible. Some of the places where I have secret doors, if there's a big room down below that secret door that I don't necessarily need, I might take the room up with the redstone. But as much as I can, I will absolutely be putting redstone contraptions in here, everywhere that I can. If I got room to put it in to hide the redstone, because you're not going to be able to see the redstone, obviously. But if I got enough room to hide the redstone, yeah, absolutely I'm going to be making it. Lots of zombies. Yeah, that's one of the things about this. I have no idea how I can turn mob spawning off, but I'm gonna leave it in passive so that when you're walking through this, the mobs aren't actually bothering you. Although, to make it harder, I could actually leave, put it under survival. Like, I mean, there's one level of difficulty trying to get through this just to figure out, you know, where everything is and how to get through. There's a completely different level of difficulty trying to get through it while you're fighting the zombies and the skeletons and the creepers. Do I got a lot of pages for this dungeon? Yes, I have a lot of pages for this dungeon. Do I still play D&D? Not as much. Well, not really. No. It's not because I don't want to. It's because I don't have anybody to play with. I would very much love playing D&D again. I'm hearing actually that D&D is making a comeback. What are they doing to make D&D come back? There's a lot of theories on that. Dungeons and Dragons was originally, I think it was a Gary Gygax Games or something like that, or TSI maybe. But they were bought by Wizards of the Coast. I want to say at least 5, if not 10 years ago now. And then there have been a couple of things. Apparently the show Stranger Things, the TV show Stranger Things, they actually play Dungeons and Dragons in it. And people are crediting that with a lot of the resurgence of Dungeons and Dragons. There's also a YouTube channel, I think it's by Geek and Sundry, it's called Critical Role. And it follows a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And it's good. Like, if you're looking for another YouTube show to watch, Critical Role, it's all about Dungeons and Dragons, and it's quite good. And like I say, I'm pretty sure it's the Geek and Sundry folks that do it, and they do a lot of really good stuff. Really good gaming-related stuff. And then there have been some pretty high-profile actors and comedians who have come out and said that they play Dungeons and Dragons on an ongoing basis, so that's helped too. Are you a good... Yes, I am a very good dungeon master. I have been dungeon mastering since 1980, I think. The first dungeon mastering I ever did was at a small local tournament in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. I worked for the local gaming store at the time, and I dungeon mastered. So at the time, there was basic Dungeons and Dragons, advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and expert Dungeons and Dragons. So basic and advanced, or sorry, basic and expert were both box sets with paperback books. And to be honest, there wasn't. Actually, I don't remember really what the difference was between basic and expert at the time, but I ran dungeons, I ran campaigns, modules for both of those at a local tournament. But then after that, I picked up dungeon mastering in advanced D&D, which was really the pinnacle of D&D at that time. Advanced was significantly better than expert. Expert was, to be honest, was kind of a dumbed down version of advanced, and basic was a dumbed down version of that. So I've been dungeon mastering since 1980. I have no idea who Matt Mercer is. Oh, I hear my car coming back. My wife is home. Alrighty. Look at that. We are done the walls. Oh my god, that is so funny. One sec, guys. Hello, dear. So, every one of these we're going to come out basically. Actually, do I want to do it that way? It might be better off to only do... It might be quicker if I only do one row at a time, because it does take a while for me to change angles like this. Have you memorized it? No, I have not memorized it. In fact, when I try to go through this dungeon that I've just built here, I still get confused and lost. The only reason I'm not looking at my floor plans right now is because I drew it all out over the last couple of episodes, and I'm literally just following what I drew in Minecraft here. Like, I set the basic floor plan down, and all I've been doing is upgrading the walls and now the ceilings. So I'm kind of, cheating a little. Makes me look better than I actually am. Whoop! This is not right. I don't know what's supposed to be there, but we'll do that. There are no empty spaces in this dungeon. Yeah, so this is interesting. So that one that I just did was obviously a line row on the graph paper because it's got long lines going that way, where this is obviously a line, a space row on the graph paper. So I'm going to see about doing the 2 again. I don't know. Trying to find the most efficient way of doing this, right? I think I definitely like the glass idea for this. So yeah, as you're coming through, that's what you got. I like it. Uh-oh. This way. Literally all I did was go up and around to there. That's an interesting thought. How mean would that be if I randomly just broke out blocks, and when you're up here fighting the dragon, oh look, just like that. When you're up here fighting the dragon, you fall back down in, and now you have to find your way back up again. Would that not be mean? That would be very mean, I think. Yes, that would be a nightmare. I think I might anger people if I do that. There are, however, places in this dungeon that if you're not watching your feet, you will fall back down. Is there a lot of traps? Not really. Mostly because the traps aren't an integral part of the labyrinth itself. They're part of the storyline. And there's not really much I can do in the redstone in order to make those traps, at least not with the design of the dungeon that I have. I'm actually thinking of designing a brand new dungeon, but with Minecraft and its limitations in mind, so that I can actually do that. I can build an actual Minecraft-based dungeon with traps and redstone, and leave the room for all of that stuff. So the thing about this dungeon is, when I originally designed it, I designed it to pack as much as possible into the space that the actual graph paper that I was designing it on would allow. So it's really kind of designed around a pad of graph paper, to be honest. Whereas, if I take that limitation away, and I keep the limitations of Minecraft itself in mind, I can design something with a lot more space, a lot more empty space, because you'll notice this whole dungeon, it has no empty space, right? I mean, every single place is used. But if I allow for more empty space, then I can put a lot more of those atmospheric things in, like the traps and stuff. Oh, one sec, guys. My wife is knocking at the door. I'm right back. Talking to the internet. Darth Tink says hi. My wife does not understand my obsessions. she tolerates me. My wife was the jock in school. In fact, she's still a jock now. I'm the nerd. When will I add the dragon? As soon as I can figure out how to do him. I'm gonna add the room for the dragon as soon as I'm done this. Like, he's literally gonna be on this floor right here. Then after that, I will start adding the outside and crafting the volcano. But if I or one of my subscribers can't figure out how to make something that looks like a dragon, then I may just not put him in at all and just... Oops. Yes, dear. Oh, yeah. Drawstring, dear. Well, that's fine. Whatever you want. Not with a drawstring, dear. My wife is telling me some of my sweatpants are too big for me now. I used to weigh a fair bit more than I do now. I have been on a diet. I am what's known as a cheap-ass bastard, so I don't like to throw away perfectly good clothes. I mean, unless they really look stupid, but they're sweatpants, for Christ's sakes. Who the hell cares? Yeah, well, here, watch this. Yeah. One of my costumes is Emperor Palpatine. That's one of the characters I play in the 501st Legion. I do more of a robot chicken Palpatine than an actual Ian McDiarmid Palpatine, but I have fun with it. To be honest, that the Robot Chicken episode with Emperor Palpatine talking to Vader on the phone right after the Death Star blew up, the first Death Star blew up, frickin' hilarious. I love that scene. Okay. Bye. Um, so as far as I understand, the counter is the counter that they put up there isn't always necessarily as accurate as it could be. I've actually had 4 people replying to me up here, and it said there are 2 people watching before, so I'm not really sure. It could actually be counting me. I never know with YouTube. Swear. It does look big from here. Wow, look at that. That does look very big. But if you do this, yeah, it looks pretty big. So you might be able to find your way up into here on the outside. There is a way to get in there in here from the outside. There's also going to be a way to get in down there from the outside. But both of them are going to be a little bit difficult to figure out. I'm not sure which one I want people using, to be honest. That makes two of us, dude. I mean, the only reason I have any idea is because I have the map. And what I do know is that this is the last real complicated level. The next level is literally the final room, and that final room is as big as this entire floor. To be honest, though, I'm hoping that some people will take up the challenge because it's so complicated to try to figure out their way through it. And like I said, I would love to see somebody either live stream or do a video of themselves finding their way through it. And I'd be very interested to know how many hours each person spent figuring it out, and then who can, once people start figuring out how to get through it, who can get through it the fastest. So I'd love to see like a speed run live stream where they start at the bottom and they get all the way to the dragon, you know, in like 15 minutes or something like that. That would be really cool. Anybody who's been watching my videos on building this dungeon is going to have a leg up, because they're going to have seen every single thing I built. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure how much that's going to help, because, like I said, I built the damn thing and I don't think it's helping me. You know, I need some sort of a little, well, maybe not. I was going to say some audible signal when somebody says something, but, you know, if I get 50 people all talking at the same time, then that becomes really difficult. Someday I will have 50 people who watch what I do. It's not impossible. It's just very difficult. And like I said, in fact, I'll put this in the description too. I highly recommend getting out a piece of graph paper and making your own map as you go through this. Because without your own map, yeah, I think it's impossible. I'll be honest, I'm not sure which level is harder, this one or the door maze downstairs. You were with me when I did the door maze, right? That door maze is evil. And I've actually figured out how to do fake doors now, so I'm going to be putting some fake doors in here too. Here, I'll show you the door maze. Oh, actually, here, I'll show it the, I made some larger photocopies, so I could do the shot list correctly. That's the door maze. It is very evil. Yes, I'm cruel. Yeah, I definitely think this is the most complicated maze that I've built. I could probably build a more complicated maze, but over the last few years I haven't had any real need to because I haven't been playing. But like I said, I'm absolutely going to build a Minecraft specific maze now so that I can actually incorporate a lot of the Minecraft mechanisms into, including, you know, all of the redstone contraptions and stuff. And maybe even some monster spawners and things like that. What about a TNT run? What do you mean if... I hate to ask. What do you mean by a TNT run? I'm definitely not going to be blowing up my maze, I'll tell you that. Basically, you step on the wrong pressure plate and get exploded into pieces. But you also run because mostly are bad and sometimes no signal. I might use that as a trap in the dungeon, in the Minecraft specific dungeon that I make. But that's interesting. I don't know that I'd do it quite that way, but I might. Oh no, that's really interesting. I might actually do a pressure plate maze, where if you step on the wrong pressure plate, a block of TNT drops down on top of you. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't want it destroying my... But then again, I might see about... Because I know there's a way to stop mobs from destroying your dungeon. So like if you explode a creeper, it won't destroy your dungeon. I'm wondering if you can do the same thing with TNT, where it'll only hurt the players and not the walls of your dungeon. Because you're right, it would have to be bedrock. And then what it would actually do is it would destroy the pressure plates, which is not what I want. Oh, excuse me one sec. Oh, excuse me. That actually hurt. Yeah, I have to learn more about command blocks. I haven't actually really looked into those all that much. I'm gonna have to do that. Woohoo, last row. Ta-da! A texture pack? I can't make a texture pack. So, if there's a texture pack, it's not coming from me. You know what I'm gonna do? Something for the dragon to eat. um, Villagers and pillagers? Probably not. Maybe, actually, yeah. There are a couple of areas. That's a good question. There's a couple of areas in here that are supposed to have human types in there, evil human types in there. I might add villagers and pillagers in there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? Just to get this out of the way. The other thing I'd like to do... Oh, I can do that too, actually. Husk spawn egg. What is a husk? Never seen it. Skeleton spawn egg is what I was looking for. Skeleton horse? Wither skeleton. And let's look at what a husk is. Alright. So, a husk. Interesting. Wither skeleton. A skeleton. Ha ha ha! Now that's really interesting. Okay. Apparently... Apparently I missed one. But the skeleton horses, out of all of that, the only thing that caught on fire was the skeletons. Why is the top obsidian? Because the dragon will actually have breathed on the top and turned all of the top into obsidian so that he could put the lava on top of the obsidian and it wouldn't burn through everything. It's all about the story. What if there were creepers? Also, have you heard of phantoms? I have not heard of phantoms. Creepers are going to spawn on their own. The whole reason I was putting those things up there was I was trying to ask myself, a dragon who lives in this fake volcano, what would he do? Well, he'd need a food source, right? And then once he eats stuff, the bones are going to be left, right? So, I don't know, maybe somehow those bones got reanimated into skeletons, who knows? So, yeah, it's just all trying to figure out what the story is, right? I mean, I'd like it if I could just drop a pile of bones that wasn't a skeleton walking around, but... But I don't have that ability, so... Fossils. There's fossils. I could put fossils in there. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a look at that. I might. anything that I find, right, I might be able to use anywhere in the dungeon. So on the outside of this, I'm going to put a wall of stone, kind of like that mountain over there. And then part way down, I'm going to start covering it with dirt. And maybe even some trees. Well, yeah, it have to be even some trees down near the bottom. So I gotta think of both the outside and the inside here. And then the other thing is, I'm gonna have to make it so that people can't actually climb their way all the way to the top. Or if they do climb their way out, no, yeah, actually, I can let them climb all the way to the top, because if they do climb all the way to the top, they're basically just going to be faced with a giant pool of lava. Of fossils is that there's a fossil block where you could try to make your own fossils. How do I find that? What kind of a block is it? Oh, it's in the Nether update. Okay. So it's not out yet. Stone, granite, dorite, and dorite. Podzol? I have no idea what that is. The heck is Podzol? Prismarine slab. I didn't see anything called prismarine up there. Mossy cobblestone, I'll use some of that. It's not in creative. Oh, okay. White block. Well, if it's not in creative, there's not much I can do. Never even heard of Prismarine. I don't even know what it is. Ooh, this is interesting. Oh, that's interesting too. That glazed terracotta is really interesting. Ooh, I like those too. So you're saying it's up above here somewhere? Bucket of cod? Okay. Turtle egg. Cool. Dead bubble coral. What's a dead stuff? Shulker rocks. Bone block. That's interesting. Oh, that's what you're talking about? Okay. Well, let's see what this is. I'm not quite sure what you do with it. Well, that's interesting. You can definitely go two different ways with it. So what do you do with it? How do you, like, what's it used for? Okay, I'll do an online search, see if I can figure out what it's meant to be used for, sure. This is interesting. I just noticed this. See the white bits over here? I wonder what that is. See, I'm going to take a lot of inspiration from stuff like this. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this will be, yeah. This will actually be useful. That's like dorite or something. Wow. Man, those trees look sick. This is funny too. Look at this. Half of the tree is in the jungle biome and half of it is in the, I don't know, mountain or forest biome. So it looks completely different on opposite sides of the tree. It's almost like the tree has like a sickness. There's like a sickness creeping across the land here. Alright, well I think I'm just about done for today. I'm going to finish this row. And I am going to call it a day here. But obviously I got a lot of work still to do. The really complicated mazing stuff is done. So the dungeon itself is essentially done. But now I got to do all of the aesthetic stuff. Alright, I think that is going to just about do it for today's episode. That is what we accomplished today. Wow. That really does look nasty, doesn't it? Okay. Thanks for joining me today, everyone, especially the people that chatted with me, kept me company during this, especially the people who are still left, like Float Boats. Thanks, dude. Really appreciate talking with you today. I will catch you on the next one. So I am now going to stop the stream.